Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton Geoffrey with Adam Ross, as usual. How's it going, Adam?
I can't complain, Clinton.
I
Sitting in my
guess
living
not.
room, got Decker by my side. Is my camera all right? Have I aimed it all right now?
It's in good shape.
You're good? All right.
First off, let me start out by giving you a good golf clap, Mr. Adam Ross. Good job, sir. Last week, we gave you an assignment to go out and take care of our blacktop friends here and bring us a star-studded pavement show. And by golly, you done it, boy. Tonight, we're going to have
By
Kyle
golly.
Steckley talking about his new deal coming up, along with Alex Nagy, who, has a lot of interesting things in the future, a lot of cool things he's done in the past. Obviously, Jukasa is the elephant in the room. So hopefully we get you some answers there and at least what Alex knows. We've got some other things we're going to talk about, some sad news, some great news, and everything else in the middle. As always, you're welcome to join us. Another good thing that Adam did this week that you guys won't see, but we'll fill you in on, he had a suggestion that our little production screen, so I can see Adam, he can see me, we have all our stuff going on. He asked for the chat to be added to our screen, and it's wonderful now because we can read all your chat. So please feel free to chime in on the YouTube chat, and we would love to hear what you've got to say. With that being said, go ahead, Adam.
Well, let me make the point and explain. So before, you'd often see me like reach out of the screens. I'm trying to reach my mouse pad because to see the chat, we'd have to go to a different screen. And that different screen was anywhere from 12 seconds to 30 seconds behind being live. So you'd lose, like, to go back and forth, it was just awkward, and we weren't able to interact as well as we'd like to. So now we can see the chat right there. So we can see that Gary and Glenn and Fran and Wesley, they've all chimed in. Rob Twitchett in the house. So we'll be able to be, we love the interaction. The fun part about what we do is getting to interact, because you and I have been interacting for 25 years.
I know.
That's more than enough, right?
That's crazy,
so when we
man.
get to interact with the fans, it is.
But let's talk about why this new system's working for us, because we saw you guys talking about the reopening plan for Ontario. So I said, hey, I happen to have that in my phone. I saved it. So throw that up on the screen, Spencer. That's the first thing we're talking about. So Ontario is cautiously and gradually easing public health measures. This was something that came out from the government, I think, last week. So on January 31st, you see there's one level, and we're basically going to get back to social gathering limit of 10 indoors, 25 outdoors, capacity limits of 50 indoor public settings, and I don't need to read them all line after line. Then the next phase will come in 3 weeks later on February 21st. The gathering limits will be increased, and then 3 weeks after that, increase social gathering limits to 50 people indoors with no limits for outdoor gatherings. So that bodes very well for our sport. Lifting capacities, limits on indoor public settings, proof of vaccination will still be maintained in existing settings. And interesting to see how that goes. So that's the roadmap as far as we know in Ontario. But as I talked to Mark Rinaldi, we saw this same roadmap last year. So we'll see how we get and where we get with it. Thanks for showing that, Spencer. Anything you want to add to that, Adam? We were kind of in the exact same place. We were looking at pretty much the same roadmap. Hopefully,
I feel
things don't slide back.
I feel like we're coming out of this, Clinton. I feel like I'm not going to say we're nearing the finish line, but I think we're nearing a step closer to normalcy. I just think that it can only be dragged on so much longer, and I think the horizon looks good. I'm still skeptical of the border. I'm glad for all of the homegrown entertainment that we have north of the border. It sucks that it used to be the border was no different than almost a toll booth, like stopping for the throughway to pay your toll when you'd go to Weed Sport or Rolling Wheels.
Yeah.
The border just might be backed up a few more minutes. That's changed. It's not the same as it was anymore, and that affects greatly people down in the Niagara region. For the rest of us, though, I'm super pleased with the product that's been put together, the state of racing, the corporate partnership. I mean, there's a lot of great momentum on the go.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Obviously at Oshweekend, we've been shut down for 2 full years. I get the feeling that Glenn wants to push the envelope a bit harder this year and really get back to it. So hopefully we're in the spot where we can make that work. We don't like talking politics here, But man, if you weren't inspired by the show of unity by the truckers here in Canada, and whatever side of that battle you're on, um, you know, thank you, truckers, man, for fighting for the freedom. Whatever your freedom is, we'll see how it goes down. I mean, it's going to be pretty chaotic in this country. They're coming from
I
all
think it's
over.
going to be Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing to see Clinton. And it takes me back, those Canadian Heritage commercials where they try
Yeah,
to teach you a bit, where they say, because there's a lot of media reporting that these guys don't have a message, that there's no common unified message being put forth. And it reminds me of that Canadian Heritage commercial. The medium is the message. The fact that all these truckers are going to converge on Ottawa, I think their message is a complete mess. But I love the solidarity that they're showing, and it's a display of peaceful protest that a group of individuals can get together based on any different number of similarities. In this case, it happens to be that they're all truckers, and I think it's going to be a spectacle that we want to behold.
I definitely is. I mean, let's talk about how much trucking means to racing. I mean, you can't go to any racetrack and you probably have 30% of the people involved in it are a trucker, involved in a trucker, trucking companies. I mean, Adam, they're the backbone of the sport. Um, yeah, it to me, just to respond to what you said, the message to me is that the mainstream media is full of shit. You know what I mean? They're not even covering this. They're pretending it's not going on. Come on, you can see it. It's a massive groundswell. I read today, last thing I'm going to say about it. The convoy coming out of BC was 70 kilometers long. That's from my house to Hamilton back to my house. That's insane. And
Mhm.
hopefully something happens. We definitely need change in this country. I'll say it. Things have gone the wrong way too far. But let's talk racing. We got some young up and comers coming on the show. Alex Nagy notwithstanding, and that'll be my first and probably last jab at Alex because I don't want to fight him. But you're pretty good at it, Adam, so you better start lining your pockets. Let's bring on Kyle Steckley. Kyle was a guy we talked to last year on our G-Force broadcasts. And as we say, Adam, in the racing world, talk to us for the right reason. That's one of my favorite sayings to the guys in the pits before the races, because I'll be either talking in victory lane or talking to you in a pile of crap in turn two. So Kyle talked to us for the right reasons. I remember that day we were talking to him. Flamborough ran super good, came out and just dusted the field at him out of nowhere. Before we bring Kyle in, your thoughts on that race? That was a shocker, and one of the storylines of the APC series was Kyle Steckley knocking one down.
It was not a shocker to anyone who's watched Kyle race for any length of time, and not just race on race nights, but the amount of practice, the number of hours spent turning laps at Flamborough Speedway. I don't know how many other venues they've gone to test, but I know how many times they were at Flamborough Speedway. I mean, he has put in the time. It was a pleasant surprise to see everyone else have a look at what people at Flamborough Speedway had been seeing for quite a while. So, with that, Kyle Steckley, welcome to the show. Let's share your big announcement for 2022.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Welcome.
Oh, great to have you, man. Always exciting. I wondered what was going to happen to that particular ride. And like an idiot, it never jumped into my head that you would fill that seat. So tell people who you're going to be racing for this year.
Yeah, so I partnered with APC Auto Parts for this 2022 season and kind of taken over Pete Shepard's ride, you could say. So I'm going to be running the number 22 car, the famous APC number 22 car, which my dad also raced in. So that's pretty cool, and really excited to partner with such a great company that does so much for the racing industry. And you can't really get a better sponsor in racing. So super excited for the season in the APC series and at Delaware on weekly Friday night. So I think we're going to have a great year, and I'm just really excited to get the season going.
Kyle, of all the tracks you raced at, which one are you most comfortable and which one are you looking forward to getting your new ride out at?
Well, I think it's pretty easy to say Flamborough I'm most comfortable at, but I really like going to Delaware at the end of the year, and we're going to race there full time this year. So I'm really excited for that. There's a lot of stiff competition, not just in the APC series, but also on their weekly nights there. So really excited with the bit of repave they did there. I think it's going to provide some really good racing, and I think it'll be a big learning experience for me and some great experience. So I'm really excited to try out Delaware.
Where is the car going to be housed? Talk us through your race team from crew chief to spotter, where it's going to live during the week, and who's going to work on it.
So it's going to be housed out at 22 Racing here in Melbourne, out at my dad's shop with the Pinty's program. And basically, we've got my dad, who's going to be crew chief owner. He's going to do he's going to be the owner, make the decisions on race days and such. We have Steve Taylor, who helps out with the Pinty's crew. He's going to be our spotter and tire guy. And then we've got Ben Dalton, Quinn Kipper, Ron Darling, Dwight Robinson. We've got a whole bunch of great guys who help out both at the shop and at the track. So I'm very thankful for my entire crew. And, I'll be working on it majority at the shop, but we got shop night every Tuesday night where guys come out and help me out. So without them, I wouldn't be able to do it for sure.
Kyle, a lot of these guys probably look at you as, your dad did it. You're getting everything handed to you. But I've seen you at the track. You've helped out a lot of guys and worked on a lot of cars this summer. I mean, you've paid your dues here at the track. How's that going to help you when you get in the cockpit of this car that you know every piece on it?
Yeah, I think it helps you a ton. Like just knowing what everything does from adjustment wise to how it gets put together, just everything. Some young guys in the States, they just show up and race. So that's how it is a lot of times now, it seems. So I'm trying to learn everything I can, learn how every piece of equipment on the car works. And so I understand it at the track. I know what adjustments I like, what adjustments I don't like, what they do to the car, how they affect the car, and so on. So I think working on the car is really, really a great benefit to the driver.
I've had the chance to see a lot of drivers over the years and people that I've been super impressed with, Kyle, someone like Alex LeBay, someone like your dad, someone like Donnie Thompson. JR Fitzpatrick has grown into it, like people that really do get their hands dirty. A DJ Kennington. I mean, there are a lot of them, but there are also a lot who show up with their helmet bag and go race. Not to take anything away from their racing talent, I just have a different level of respect for someone who can invest that amount of time. What about the Pinty's cars? Is there any talk about doing some shows in the Pinty series like APC has gotten behind Pete Shepard the last few years with?
Yeah, I'd really like to do some oval Pinty's races this year and get my feet wet in the Pinty series. I think they're great cars. They're hard to drive, big horsepower, and the shocks, brakes aren't as good. So I'd love to try them out. And I want to test a bunch this year, and maybe we'll see if we can put a deal together to do an oval or two throughout the year.
Kyle, how is your comfort level on a road course? I mean, obviously you've probably done it on iRacing, but I know there's a lot of talk about the oval track program. To become a champion like your dad was, you're going to need to go left and right and shift those gears. How comfortable are you on the left and the switchbacks?
Not too comfortable, honestly. I've never drove on a road course except for iRacing. Obviously, I feel I'm all right on iRacing, but could be better. So we'll see. You might see me in a road course car at CTMP turning some laps this year.
Oh, there you go. It's all about the seat time. Will you run the same car weekly at Delaware that you're going to run on the APC series, or will there be two separate cars, Kyle?
We've been talking about that a lot lately, and we're looking at getting a second car possibly to run at Delaware and kind of just have a backup in case anything would go wrong. Hopefully not, but if something would go wrong, then we'd have it there, because last thing we want to happen is getting a wreck and then you can't go to the race. So we want to be as prepared as we can, and we think getting a second car for that might just be the right idea.
Kyle, obviously you got APC on the horizon. You've got Pinty's in your sights going down the line. What's the ultimate goal for Kyle Steckley? When you and your dad dream as you're driving to these races and back at 3 a.m, where do you say, Dad, one day I really want to get where?
Well, obviously, all the kids' dreams is to go to NASCAR, but that's obviously extremely hard to do and takes a lot of funding. And a lot of talent and to get noticed, and a lot of things have to go perfect for you to get to the States and get to the top level in the NASCAR Cup Series. So, that's obviously my dream, my goal, but I love where I'm at right now, racing late models across Ontario. It's great competition. Some of the greatest drivers in North America racing in the APC series. So, if I just keep racing APC for the rest of my life, I don't see anything wrong with that.
All right, man. Cool.
You know what? That was impressively said, Kyle. Don't tell your dad this. I hope he's not sitting right next to you. But you have said more words in this interview than I think your father said to me in all of the wins he had in the NASCAR Pinty Series. I have interviewed your dad many, many times, and you gave me more words than he did. So you're on the right track. Really well done. You've come so far, Kyle. Congratulations in the short time you've been in this game.
Thank you.
Make sure you're talking to us for the right reasons. Kyle Steckley, ladies and gentlemen, watch for him at one of the local tracks coming up around here. The future's looking bright. Let's look in to Alex Nagy's world now. Bring Alex in, Adam, when you can finish your thought.
Yeah, we'll get to Alex. I mean, where's he going? Come on, really? Oh, there's Alex. Hey, but and Alex actually can attest to this. Scott Steckley is a gifted man. He's a gifted individual behind the wheel. He knows his stuff. He was not the character in front of the camera and on the microphone that some of the others were. It just wasn't the area of the sport where he really excelled. And I can already see that Kyle, you can't tell me he hasn't had some training, or at least had someone say to him, pay attention to some interviews, start to work your answers. Did you listen to his interview there, Alex, or are you just popping on?
No, I did. And it's funny. I don't want to break this to you guys, but we already scooped you guys because Mark and I had him on Driver and Deep earlier today. and it's funny. I said the same thing to him. I said, one thing you're already better at than your dad is talking.
There's
For sure.
There's a Clinton and I, like, we get on each other pretty good, Alex, but I don't think we're as good at it as you are with Mark.
Oh, you
I
guys
don't mean doing
good,
interviews. I mean picking on each other. Like you do a hell of a job.
Well, thanks. Listen, you're pretty good at it yourself.
I've had some
Alex,
good training. I've had good mentors.
Let's talk about, I guess the first thing we got to talk about, Alex, is Jukasa. You're sitting in the office there by the looks of it, so you're still at the Speedway. What news do you have for the fans? Because obviously everybody's asking that, and obviously we've been asked a million times on this show. So thank you for coming through for us, because we did tell them we'd eventually get you on. I reached out to you the day it came out, and you respectfully said it's too soon, so we appreciate you coming on now. What can you tell us about the situation at Jukasa?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's sad for everybody, but mostly it's sad that we lost Kenny Hill, and that was a huge part of it was a huge part of what me and him did here, and not a lot of other people involved knew what me and Kenny did. And at the end of the day, when Kenny passed away, I met with the group here, and they weren't sure. They told me, we're not sure what's going to happen with the Speedway. And I told them at that time that whatever the decision is, I may or may not agree, but I will respect it. And obviously time went by, the pandemic hit, and as time passed, it's just a business decision on the ownership's part. They just don't want to operate a Speedway again. I respect that. It's really unfortunate. It was hard for me to get over. I poured everything I had into this place. But I respect their decision. It's their place. But ultimately, all the stuff out there, folks, bulldozing it, growing this, building that, I can tell you, it's all BS. They have no immediate plans for the property. As a matter of fact, who knows, maybe down the road they'll decide to sell it, and somebody who wants to operate it as a racetrack will be able to bring it back. There's always that opportunity, but there's no immediate plans for the property. So that gives the Speedway an opportunity maybe down the road.
So from the movie Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. Well,
Well, no, it's good,
again,
Alex. That they're not just going to wipe it off the map. And like you said,
yeah.
maybe feelings can change, maybe opportunities can change. There is still hope, and that's probably a great thing. Adam, what do you take out of that response?
A glimmer, a sliver of hope, right? And that's been my thought quietly for quite a while. Until a bulldozer comes in there and knocks that place apart, there's still hope that cars could go around in circles there someday. So, and Clint, that's just me saying that as a fan. Obviously, like Alex says, he has so much invested. On the bright side, Alex, I know you've got some opportunity to put a little bit of your little bit of your fine touches on other racing series and other projects. So that's pretty exciting. It's not like you've left the sport. You're still a big part of the racing scene in Ontario.
Yeah, well, thank you. I've been fortunate enough to have a good relationship with all the asphalt track owners, operators, and even, some dirt guys like Clint. And but it's such a small, tight-knit community, and I've had some time, so I've offered some of my services, I guess, if you will, just to help wherever I can, taking on some small projects and just to stay involved and stay up on everything and help wherever I can. I mean, I did that all the time anyways, and I just always want to give back and help wherever I can.
So, Alex, we always talk about the positivity going on, and you've been around this sport in this region a long time. Do you feel the same way we do, that there's a great kind of synergy going on, and there seems to be a lot more cooperation, and everybody seems to be pulling on the rope the same way more than they ever have on the asphalt side? Would you agree to that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was so afraid when this pandemic hit, because I thought that our sport, not pavement, I mean, our motorsports industry in general had such a big positive movement going. And I thought, man, this pandemic's going to knock us back down. But man, every time we've operated or went to a race, or people had races for the past couple of years, it's been great. Car counts are great. Fans, when they were allowed to come, have been great. So yeah, I agree. And then part of it on the asphalt pavement side is the fact that all the racetracks do work together. We meet 2, 3, 4 times a year, depending, and we work together. We've got some common rules for a couple divisions, like mini stocks and super stocks. Pro late models are pretty much the same everywhere. So we could, we coordinate schedules best we can. There's only so many days in a calendar year, but all in all, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I would say the asphalt side of things have taken a bit of a page out of your playbook on the dirt side.
Well, I mean, we've already
Oh,
seen it
don't.
blossom, Adam, into the Quick Super Stock Series. I mean, that would not have ever been possible 5 years ago, when everybody was on their own
No.
islands and building fences around their own rule packages, right? So we've come a long way, and we've already seen benefits. I think that's the big thing I see from it. The fact that everybody bought in a matter of 2 years, we're seeing massive results. And from the G-Force side, we're happy to be there working with all those partners to put that up there and do our little part to put it front and center. I'm agree. We're on the right path. Adam, what do you got?
And it's so much of a what comes first, the chicken or the egg. So what started this conversation? Alex, stop me if I shouldn't say this, but too late. I'm going to say it. Alex texted me last week towards the end of the show, because we were talking about Terry Vince. But the great point that Alex made is you can have all sorts of great plans, you can have all sorts of sizzle, but if you don't put your money where your mouth is, it's not going to work. And Alice, you can put that into better terms than I can, but can you explain what that notion means?
Yeah, no, you hit it. I mean, I sent you a text because watching the show, you had Terry Vince on the show from Humberstone, and unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to meet Terry yet. We know of each other for being in the same industry for so long, but we've never actually met. So I'm looking forward to that. I know he's done a hell of a job at Humberstone, so I'm excited to see that. And Terry is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a new promoter, and this year he announced out on your show how he's stepping up with points money, purse, and his belief is that, and I love it because that's what I've always thought. Fans are the most important, but fans aren't coming to watch 5 cars, 4 cars, 6 cars. They will come and watch 15, 20, 25, 30. So how does that happen? You have to put on a show and the fans will come. And if you don't do a good job, the fans won't come. Terry hit it right on the nail, right in the head, and good for him. I'd love to talk to him more about that. But the days of opening the gate and expecting to make money or have a big crowd are over. And you better put a show on, because there's a million shows going on, not just in racing, whether it's theater, concerts, whatever. We all know there's a million and one things going on. So you better have a program that people want to spend the time and come and see and spend the money. And to get the program, you have to pay, and you have to get the players in the infield putting on the show for the fans. So I applaud Terry for that.
And Clint, you can fill in the blanks. You can complete the picture, because the way you explained it, look, not only he's putting this money in and he's telling you exactly where the money came from. And at the same time, if you've been to Humberstone in the last 6 months, 8 months, he's really making that place look nice. How many billboards, Clint, did he say that he's added? But when he fixed up the tower and the signage, not only is that where the money comes from to make the announcement he's making, but it makes the place look just really sporty, really attractive.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone a long way, and the place, it needed it. It needed a good cleanup, and it's a place that the racers are proud to go to now. They're proud to take their sponsors and their family to. We've all been to that racetrack where, hell, the track's amazing to race on, but everything around it is terrible, and it's not. It's tough to bring out and build something if the ladies can't go to the bathroom, right? That's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, you're right. And for you, Clint, you guys have always paid well. Your shows have been great. We tried to do the same at Jukasa, and I'm going to miss the fans the most here, because it was, I can't say thank you enough to them for sure, and competitors for putting on that show we talked about. But you see Terry doing what he's doing. Another one that comes to mind is Delaware Speedway with the new ownership group there. They've made some announcements with, I think, a 60%. Don't quote me on this, but a 60% increase in purse in 3 of 4 of their divisions or something like that. That's crazy. And their points fund is, I think, 30% or 20% on the rise. So, and last year, if that was any indication, man, those guys knocked it out of the park down there. And I know I heard you talking about that play, about Delaware, Clinton, a few times, and just how much of a great spot it is to go watch a race. And same thing. Their weekly show is incredible. Sunset Speedway, they've done a great job at that. So many, just to not trying to leave anybody out, but it gets right back to what you said, Adam, our Clinton, that there's an appetite right now, I think, amongst all promoters, track operators, owners, that they know you got to get in a game to be in the game, if for lack of a better term.
Alex, what's your long-term goal? Obviously, you're still going to be involved, but can you let us know any of your plans, or where we're going to see you coming up in the future here?
Well, same as Kyle Steckley, I'm still hoping to go to Cup.
That's been holding on to that dream for a while, eh?
Hey, what do you mean? I thought you introduced me as an up and comer. Oh no, I was the exception. Yeah. That's right. You know what? I'm in this deep. I mean, I can't thank the folks enough here, from Kenny and everybody else, the whole Hill family and Montour family. They've allowed me to slowly close everything out here. But ultimately at some point we'll all move on. And at that point, I don't know. I'm in this deep, like I was going to say, that I'd like to continue in the industry for sure. Once we announced that we were closed, I had some people reach out. That doesn't always mean anything. It's like people phoning about buying your car, but flattered that some people have some interest. And once you get things wrapped up here, I'll move forward. But my hope is to stay involved.
I can't imagine you not being involved in racing somehow, Alex. It wouldn't be the same.
No, I appreciate that.
There's only so many people that can deliver a line like you can and make you wonder, is he mad at me or did he just tell the funniest joke or am I about to be fired?
Could have been all three.
Right on.
I think often that was the case when you were talking to me.
Alex, we appreciate you coming on. If it's all right with you, we'd like to pull you back from time to time. We always appreciate your insights. And, I know you're involved with the crew that was keeping everybody back racing and communicating with the government. So maybe that's a good reason to have you back on as we get closer to the spring to announce that racing's got the full green flag from everybody to get back to business like we were. But we're in a strong spot and we're going to keep pulling on the rope the right way. Right, bud?
Yeah, you got it. Listen, thanks for having me on. I think it's taken about, about 2 years. We had a tech issue the first time a couple of years back or a year and a half ago. So excited to be on. It's an honor and look forward to working with you guys down the road.
Thanks, Alex.
Absolutely. Take care, Alex.
Alex Nagy, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be seeing him coming around the bend a few more times if you're in this racing situation here in Ontario. And Adam, this has been action-packed. We haven't even had a chance to bullshit about nothing. We're going to jump right from Alex right into another guest. This is Claude Haggerty. Claude is someone who is in the sponsorship game here. He's been helping out a lot of these teams and, kind of getting them up to speed. So, Claude, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I actually had pleasure watching Dave Memo on your show. Dave was one of the first race teams that I helped. And the word kind of got out from there. And now I'm helping race teams in Canada, US, and Australia to get their race team sponsored and love every second of it. So cool.
You're a glutton for punishment, Claude. And a success story is so enjoyable, but sponsor chasing is one of the most stressful parts of motorsports there is. What on earth do you enjoy about it?
Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be stressful. And I think that there's some reasons why race teams make it stressful. And it's not their fault because I don't think anyone showed them an easier way. But there's some certainly do's and don'ts. And if it's like making a cake, right? First of all, you need your ingredients. And so you go get all of those. And even if you've never made a cake before, you could follow a recipe. It tells you, hey, go preheat the oven to 350. Like, okay, I could do that. Now take 6 eggs, break them and put them in a bowl. You go, hey, I could do that. Now scramble them for it. Hey, I can do that. And if you follow that recipe step by step, when you're done, you pretty much get a cake, even if you've never made a cake. But if you decided that, maybe I won't need eggs, like what the heck, I don't need eggs, or I don't need flour, or I don't need that, you won't get a cake. Same thing if you decided to do it out of order. Maybe you're going to cook the eggs first. Well, you probably won't get a cake either. And the same thing with sponsorships. There is a recipe for success. And if you follow the recipe, keep it super simple, you will get sponsors in the end.
I think that's brilliant. Claude, we are always trying to get through the gatekeepers, right? I try to sell a lot of ads myself. What's the one mistake or the one way you got to get to the right check writer? How do you get to the gatekeeper inside these companies?
Well, sure, easy. First of all, companies are only going to sponsor you if you can check off these 3 boxes. If you miss one, you're not going to get the deal. Number 1, they got to know you. Number 2, they got to like you. And number 3, they got to trust you. If they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, you're not going to get a dime. And people say, well, that makes common sense. Well, then why are you emailing total strangers asking them for money? They don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. There's a time.
I love that line.
Right? Okay. Now, since the beginning of time, man has come to realize that there is a time or season to go plant seeds. There is a time to nurture those seeds, and then there's a time to harvest. It would be nice if you could go outside and plant a handful of potatoes, go back 3 or 4 hours later and pick a bushel of potatoes like that. That would be awesome. But it doesn't quite work that way, right? And that season doesn't have to be a long season, but there is a time to plant, a time to nurture, and a time to harvest. And again, I see race teams trying to harvest, get paid, and they haven't spent 1 cent or 1 minute in planting a seed, nurturing a seed. Okay. So why do they expect a harvest? So you were asking me, how would I get into a gatekeeper? Well, first of all, if businesses only sponsor people that know, like, and trust, then why not start off with businesses that already know, like, and trust you, and you already know, like, and trust them, like people that you already do business with. Who's your realtor? Who's your financial planner? Who's your dentist? Who's your landscaper? Who's your mechanic?
Great
You would
points.
recommend these. You could recommend these folks anyways. You would recommend them because they give you amazing service. So if you were going to recommend and promote them anyways, why not invite them to have a look, at least at what you're doing? Now,
Claude,
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Clinton, where are you from?
St. Catharines.
St. Catharines, me too. See, that's awesome. So for example, let's say I wanted to approach somebody. Let's say I was going to approach I had a race in, say, Syracuse. Okay, I'm going to go to race in Syracuse. Well, I don't know anybody in Syracuse that would sponsor me, but maybe Clinton, you might have a friend in Syracuse. Like, okay, do you know a realtor in Syracuse? You're like, well, I have a friend that I went to school with. Well, what's your friend? Well, my friend's John. Well, how do you know John? Well, we went to school together, and we used to play hockey together. I'm like, awesome. So I could hang up the phone with you. I could call Syracuse. I could call your friend and say, hey, John, I've never met before. I don't know you. You don't know me, but we have a mutual friend, Clinton Geoffrey. In fact, he speaks quite highly of you. He says you guys went to college together. You guys play hockey together, and he highly recommends you as a realtor. Now, I have a project happening in Syracuse that is going to benefit one local realtor. One local realtor. Now, I don't know if this is for you or not, but I promised our mutual friend, Clinton, that I would give you first look at this. What if we Zoom for a few minutes? Why don't I show you what I have and how we can help each other? If you like this, we'll do something. We'll help each other. If not, it's okay. I was going to offer to a realtor anyways, but I promised Clinton I would give you the first look at this.
No, I like that.
You know what would happen? You know what would happen? Your friend would meet with me with no reservation whatsoever. Why? Because he knows, likes, and trusts you, that knows and likes and trusts me, that knows and likes and trusts you, that knows and likes and trusts him. And even if he said no, he would be honored that you even recommended that we chat. So if I was looking to somebody just past that gatekeeper, who do I know that knows that person? Like, how many? It might take me 1 or 2 steps to get there. You don't get checkmate in one move. You strategically set yourself up for a checkmate or a sponsorship, right? No, your gatekeeper might not put me through, but if your mother called you and said, you need to call Claude Haggerty, you're probably going to call me. Ta-da. So the closer I could get someone to you, the more chance I can connect with you with zero hesitation or reservation.
Claude, that's beautiful. Can you hang around for 5 minutes?
Sure.
We have a special guest who just texted me, so we're going to bring him on the show right now. NASCAR driver Stewart Friesen has texted me out of the blue, and I'm like, Stewart, we need to get you on the show. Stewart, thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to have you with us here. You know, your season's just about to really ramp up, bud. Florida's kicking off. You got Daytona going on. Are you excited? Are you well rested? Are you ready?
Yeah, for sure. We've been really busy. Bear with me. Our internet's not very good here out in Sprakers. So I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we've been working really hard getting the truck stuff ready. Tommy Conroy in the modified shop. We got 2 fresh cars getting ready to go for the short track Super Series stuff at Alltech, as well as Volusia with the dirt car stuff. And then that leads us right into Daytona. Our Speedway truck, which was new for Talladega, is all freshened up. Got to spend some time with the guys down there in the last couple of weeks. I was actually down there yesterday, just got back a little while ago, and it's full steam ahead. So we're looking forward to it, and it's going to be here before we know it.
Stewart, of all the racing you get to do these days, what gets you the most excited?
Yeah, all of it. And, I was fortunate enough to go down to Volusia last week and run the run the late model a little bit. Obviously, we had a mechanical failure early in practice, but got to rip a couple laps, and that was awesome. So, the next one's always the biggest one, whether it's the late model, the modified, the truck, texting Clint about trying to get Dashwegan for the big, sprint car Pinty's double header. And you can thank my cousins. I got a group text of about 100 Dutch cousins at home that are like, when are you coming home to race again? And I said, I had to text Clint and say, what are those dates? That's what led to all this. But yeah, it's always the next one. That's always the best one.
Yeah, your timing was very fortuitous for us, and that's a big story, Stuart. We haven't not told anybody, but we have been working on courting you for 2 years now since we announced this dirt race to bring you up, and you'll be driving with the Scott Steckley team. So you've already got a seat up there with them, and we're working on getting you in a GSR car for 2 nights in the sprint cars, which is the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals on the Monday. So that's a huge breaking story that we're going to release here right now. But Stuart, so much going on, the trend here, everybody's talking in NASCAR, and the hot story lately is the guys who are hot because they're racing so much. Larson did so well because he's now allowed to race all these extra races. That's been your pattern for so long. Do you think that's helping these guys? It's obviously helping you. Is your dirt program actually helping your asphalt program? Is it just hand-eye coordination? What's the deal? Are you getting benefits?
Yeah, for sure. I believed in that my whole life, just always tried to race as much as I could. It's like anything. If you play hockey and you skate every day, you're going to be better than the guy that just does it once a week, no matter what arena you're in. Same with playing golf. The professional golfers that do it every day just have that leg up. So, fortunately enough, I have some great partners and sponsors with Chris Larson at Halmar that allows me to jump around and run some different stuff. And, even before Chris, I was lucky to be teamed up with some great car owners, that gave me the opportunity to race, multiple times a week. So I feel like that's what it's all about. And like you said, you're seeing that, in the top levels of, North American motorsports right now with Larson, Chase Elliott trying to run dirt. You got Kyle Busch, jumping in that 600 at the Tulsa shootout. So you're going to see more and more guys. I read an interview yesterday with Martin Truex saying that he's going to try to run more races. So it's neat, and it also connects the short track fan and the NASCAR fan, and just kind of bridges those two worlds together. So that's a neat thing to be part of too.
Stewart, it so is. I mean, you might be too young to remember, Bobby Allison barnstorming and coming up to run weed sport and dirt modified stuff. They kind of got lost for a little while, but I don't think there's ever been a time when more mainstream big time racers are running grassroots events. And I won't use the term coming down to run them, because it's definitely not a step down. It's just a different type of racing. But I'm curious, how did you meet Chris Larson? How did you guys find each other?
Racing at Middletown, at Orange County Fair Speedway. Chris had built his business into a place where he could afford to, get back involved in racing. He'd been a long time race fan, was a big Gary Ballou fan back in the early 70s when he was a kid, going to Middletown with his dad and his brothers. And he got his business in a place where, he wanted to get involved, and he'd got involved with some different modified guys. And we met at Eastern States in 2015. That led to a meeting down at his office a couple months later. And that started the snowball of where we are now.
Stuart, one of your local fans, probably watch you race every lap you ever raced at Ranceville. Fran Bouchard's asking, what do you think of the LA Coliseum?
I think it's very interesting. Fran spent a lot of time at the Niagara Falls Convention Center, and I think it's going to be, indoor racing, even though there's not a roof on it, it's going to be that bump and grind. I believe it's going to be that survival of the fittest atmosphere. I think it's going to be very exciting to watch on TV. It might be a little bit frustrating for some of the competitors. I believe that's what it's going to be close to. It's going to be old-fashioned TQ indoor racing.
We have lost the Moody Mile. We've lost Cayuga Speedway up here. So many speedways that have come and gone, but there is not a race weekend that I miss more than Niagara Falls Convention Center. Stewart, how much did that place hone your skills?
Oh, absolutely. Just being able to, get out and race, for those 3 or 4 times they had, Harry had those shows over the winter when I was coming up through go-karts and junior ranks and stuff, and being able to get out there and do it, it was just an advantage. It kept you sharp for when the season started. And then as I got older and started racing with Hal Lawrence, Vinny Cristiano, my grandfather, Stan, obviously James Michael, Kurt Mann, Uncle Joel, my dad, Russell, like we got to race together throughout the winter in there, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a good group of guys racing. The midgets were such a unique class at that time. It kind of wasn't the cookie cutter midget like you have now at Atlantic City and stuff, where it's kind of, if you don't have a Lafler car or one of those indoor purpose cars, you're kind of out to lunch. It was what everybody had that they raced all summer, whether it was the Lancaster group or the Can-Am group, came together and raced and had a lot of fun. And everybody drank a lot of beer afterwards, and it was a good time.
Stu, let's talk about testing the new generation of Cup car on the dirt. I mean, how did that come together? And it must have been a huge honor when you get tapped by the teams to be the one they're all looking at to see how this new car is going to perform on the dirt.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was a shock. Brad Moran, fellow Canadian, who was the Truck Series director at the time, gave me a shout, towards the end of the season. And, when the Truck Series director calls, the first thing you think of is, oh boy, what did we do wrong? I'm going to get in trouble for something. But it was the opposite. And he said, would you be interested in testing this car? They want a dirt guy to do it. They don't want to give an advantage to Larson or Bell or one of the other Cup dirt guys. I jumped at the chance. It was like, this will be really cool. It'll be a neat opportunity to run this car, and got to go down there and do it, mid-December, Lancaster, South Carolina. The second track that I raced at, named Lancaster Speedway, which was pretty cool. And it was a neat experience. Driving in there, I figured it would just be, the guys from Richard Childress Racing had put the car together. They'd taken it around the country. It tested a bunch of different tracks. And I figured to be those guys, some of the guys from Goodyear, we were going to do a tire test, run 20, 30 sets of tires through it and see what happened. But there was, crew chiefs and engineers from every team across the Cup Series, and they were all looking at me. So it was kind of a nerve-wracking experience at first until I got out there and got rolling, started giving feedback and started working back and forth with those guys. And it was a really cool experience.
What can you compare those cars to, Stewart? And even the trucks. What do you compare either of those race machines on a dirt track? Is it like anything you've driven?
Probably like a pro stock or street stock. I mean, it's a purpose-built pavement, performance vehicle that you're trying to take and make it do something it really doesn't want to do. So, we made a lot of shock and spring changes with the next gen car. We were actually outside of the rule book on what springs were allowed. I had a friend with me that knew a buddy up the road with a late model shop, and went in there and grabbed some springs out of his garage and started throwing them on the back just to get it softer and get it traveling and see where, those changes needed to be. So it'll race the best it can race when they go to Bristol. So we were able to make a bunch of changes, get it a little bit softer, a little bit more forgiving to drive, a little bit easier to drive in a drift and up on the cushion. The track was a lot of fun. 3 and 4 was pretty tacky with a cushion. 1 and 2 was very slick. So I think it was a good test, and hopefully the races be better because of it.
Stewart, obviously the big race coming up is Daytona for you to get your season underway. How do you feel at Daytona? Is it a place you like, are comfortable? And is there any way you can control your own destiny there?
That's a good question. It's tough. We all try to build the best piece you possibly can. You spend 2 months, in the body shop and bondoing and just tweaking every little area that you can. We're going with a pretty tricked out piece and probably the best piece I've ever brought to Daytona. So I'm excited for that. But that doesn't mean it could be wadded into a ball, by the time you bring it home. So it's exciting. It's fun to do. It's a dream come true to race at Daytona every time we get to go down there. So hopefully, we can kind of stay clean and maybe work a little bit of strategy. So, we're there in the last couple laps.
When you crash out of I'm going to call it a restrictor place race. What a super speedway race, Stuart. Is there any disappointment at all, or do you realize going in that you're pretty much playing a game of bingo at high speed? Like, what's the difference between that and maybe giving away a race or having a problem in a race where you're sure you're in contention to win?
Yeah, it's a little different. I mean, it's very fast. It's very high speed. The draft is pretty insane to maneuver through. So anything can happen. And when it does, you just really don't want to be the guy that starts it, because then you got everybody else in the field, blaming you. Like, why did you do that? Well, you could have made a better move. But it's nature of the beast. You want to be towards the front of the pack to try to stay clear. We were making moves towards the front of the pack at Talladega in September there and got collected up, when guys started blocking. So, I mean, it's nature of the beast. It's always very disheartening, and you want to win every race you go to. So whenever you get knocked out, it sucks. But usually the knockout blows are a little bit more severe, at those big tracks.
Right on, Stu. We know you got a lot of stuff going on. We don't want to keep you. I thank you so much, as does Adam and Spencer, for joining us here tonight on short notice. And we're going to be knocking on your door a few more times throughout the season. And like we say to all our buddies, hopefully it's for the right reasons. Go knock them down at Daytona, and we'll be there to follow it up for you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. Jess just got Parker to bed, and she's laughing because Oak Island starts in about 8 minutes, and I can't miss that.
Yeah, we've heard that.
You got to have priorities.
All right,
thanks.
Good luck down south.
All right, thanks, guys.
Could it be? Isn't that what they say on Oak Island? Pretty cool to get Stewart Friesen to jump in with us last minute there, Adam. Like I said, he just started texting me out of the blue. He says, I got a ton of relatives, wins that race at Oshaweekend. And I said, are you at your computer? He said, I am. Beautiful. So we're going to bring Claude back on in a minute, Adam, but let's just follow up. Pretty cool to have Stewart on. Obviously, a guy from our neck of the woods who's made it and doing very, very well for himself. And it's going to be awesome to have him in Oshaweekend racing the dirt race this summer.
Stewart's awesome. I mean, such a good guy, such a true blue racer. I mean, I can't say enough good things about him.
I think Stewart is the exact same person he was when he was 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're probably right there.
Now he's racing on a better stage. Let's bring Claude back in. Claude, it's very rare we cut a guest off like that, sir. I think you've got some amazing things to say. Some great help can be given to racers all around. I know Adam is also big into what this type of stuff, and I see him agreeing with a lot of things you have to say. So we're definitely on the right path. Before we get any further, but hopefully you understand, Stewart Friesen, big-time NASCAR guy, we got to jump on there. When he's joining us, we had him on hold for 10 minutes, and I'm like, we got to get him on before we lose him. Claude, so first off, before we get any further with you, where can our viewers get your help? How can they find you? How can they get it? What type of services are you offering? And, how can we help out everybody here?
One way is I have a page set up, and I can put a link below the video, but it's just go to freesponsortips.com. There's 4 or 5 videos that show you some basic strategies to get you started for free. 2, there's an invitation to jump on Zoom with me. We have a 20 to 30 minute call. I find out where you're at, where you want to go. And if there's a way I can help you to do that, then we help each other to do that. If we can't, then we had a half-hour chat, right? What I do is not for everyone, but this year I will help 40 to 50 race teams generate another $2 or $3 million collectively over and above what they did last year. I have parents who come. I have parents who come to me, and I never even thought of this as you talk about a micro niche. I have dozens of parents come to me saying, I'm in a real hot spot. My kid is racing micro sprints. He's looking at 40,000 this year. We don't know where we're going to get 40 grand from. Again, 5th year in a row. So either we have to go tell him that or her that they can't race, or we have to get it sponsored, and we don't know how to get it sponsored. So they come to me and say, you just tell us what we got to do and we'll go do it. And I help these folks go out, and many of them are racing at zero cost.
Oh, that's brilliant. Claude, we appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully, you can help some more people because of this show. We're going to have you back in a week or two, and we'll go over a few more tips as we get closer. And if you're willing to come back and keep working with us, we'd like to keep spreading the help, because we certainly want to help everybody in the industry. And if it helps one more track, get one more car, that's what we're all about. So, thanks for coming on, and I appreciate your patience.
I would love to come back. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Claude.
So once again, you can get Claude's website there. Show it on the screen one more time there, Spencer. It is freesponsortips.com. Go see Claude. He's got a couple of videos up there, a few videos, as he said, and reach out to him. Thank Claude for coming on. We really appreciate it. Sorry we had to interrupt that, but some great stuff. Wow, Adam. Oof, we've been through an hour already.
Do we have any topics that won't be, aside from one, is there any other topics that we can't just push to next week? Because let's just shoot the shit for a bit, but I don't want to rush through them. I wish we had.
Most of them are quick bits, anyways. So let's go to that
whatever you want.
It's been a tough week, Adam. Obviously, it started out with the Patrick family and the Gator news, and maybe you can speak more to what that, being an American race fan. You grew up more around the Gator than I would have. The Patrick family lost their patriarch this week. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, Norm Patrick passed away. Gator racing news. I mean, there was Gator racing news and there was area auto racing news. You got one of those two or both to go with your dirt track and magazines. And I mean, that was before the internet. You'd open those papers and look at the pictures from all over the place, and you'd know what happened everywhere, Clint. And pictures just brought. I actually think with the amount of coverage we have for motorsports and the amount of video, and it's taken some of the magic away, even though it brings the sport to us in such an amazing way. Being a kid and flipping through those papers, and it became a real family. I'll give this to the Patrick family. If you were part of the Gator Racing News team, you were part of that family. If you were with Lenny Salmons and the Area Auto Racing News group, you were a part of that family. And both of those ends did a really great job of nurturing their product and being a part of the racing community. And real sad to hear that Norm Patrick passed away.
Yeah, then yesterday, closer to home, we got some news that Vera Stiers passed away. She was 5 days past her 87th birthday. This is the matriarch of the Stiers family. There's Glenn with his mom, Vera. Vera was a tough lady and brilliant in her own right. Wasn't afraid to lay down the law and make sure everybody was doing what they should. And Vera's going to be greatly missed at Oshweekend. She gifted Glenn the land to build the track. There she is when we inducted her into the Oshweekend Speedway Wall of Fame with her ring. And Vera's certainly going to be missed. Her house is right out front of the Speedway. And, so our thoughts and hearts go out to the Stiers family. Vera will certainly be missed. And if you've ever been in the grandstand side at Oshweekend, you probably met Vera or had to deal with her. She ran the ticket booth up front, and great lady. Sadly missed, Adam.
And just such a warm welcome week in and week out to the Speedway. Like you say, Clinton, and I was often in a hurry coming into the track, but you'd always make a bit of a pause to talk to Vera. Just say hello. There's something about the aura of that woman that was just, it warmed your soul.
Even me, if you've seen me ever at Oshweekend, I'm flying and buzzing around a million miles because I got a million things going on. She was that one person that would just stop me in my tracks like a cartoon, putting on the brakes and slow right down and spend the required time to make sure you gave Vera the right respect. And to the Stiers family, our hearts go out. We'll definitely be holding something special for Vera in the future. You can bet on that. So let's just buzz through a couple of these things, Adam. We got a couple of fun topics, and then we'll wrap it up for next week. So some assembly required. Dan McHattie showed this, Adam. Some wild pictures coming out of his shop. Spencer?
Yeah, his race car kit showed up. It was just a pile of tubing and a jig there. And mad respect for someone who puts a race car together like that and builds it themselves from the ground up. There is so much skill involved in that, so much hard work, and so much time. So Dan McHattie giving people a look in at what he was about to embark on.
It's one thing to buy a race car. and have somebody make a chicken shit move and wreck your stuff. But when you put that much love into a race car, now I know why guys want to beat each other up on the front straightaway sometimes, you know? Do you have the other picture? Was there a second picture there with it, Spencer? Yeah, it was just an even worse pile of tubing with nothing done to
Yep.
it. But yeah, good job, Dan, on that. All right, let's keep rolling. Next topic we've got, and I got to go back to running here. One true champion. Now, this is a funny meme that came out kind of along the topics we've been talking about the last couple days. Throw that one up, Spencer. It says the feature winners in each class should have to fight each other at the end of the night to determine one true champion. How about that in our Schweigen Speedway Battle Royal on the concrete out front to see who the one true champion of the night is? I think that's an idea you could get behind, Adam.
Spencer, put that picture back up. I got a couple of comments on this. Number one, does that fella have a right arm?
Yeah, he's got it cocked back to push it through the window.
It looks but it's possible that he didn't have arms and he just fell over that race car. So I was going to feel bad if we were picking on someone in that position.
No,
but
I'm looking at the official looking on. He looks like a referee in a heavyweight fight, like he's down there ready to count the guy out for a standing 10.
Let's work a little bit of anatomy, geometry, and physics. Let's assume that fella's about to throw a punch from that position.
Well, hold on. Which way are his legs going? If you look at his legs hard enough, that's like an optical illusion too.
Yeah, it's a mind meld, that's for sure. But this jackass is about to throw a punch, and there is nothing within arm's reach that will not break his hand when it hits it.
Twitch, it says he's in for that. You got to win a race first, Rob. Ooh, low blow. But it was directed at you, Rob. Oh, another one.
He'd say he's up for that, but he's not quite tall enough. So he's down for that.
Hey, we're going to get in trouble for picking on short people. Not short people, just short Rob. Let's take a quick lap around the Coliseum. We tried to get this on when Stewart was on, but Spencer said you changed topics too fast. Spencer's got to be quicker on the draw. Here's a look at the tight bull ring that is the LA Coliseum. Listen how much they're slowing down. I'm not loving it. But look at the grandstands. If they fill that place, it is going to be a spectacle.
I hope the cars are very, very loud. Because there's actually nothing I dislike more at a pavement race than hearing tires squeal.
I'm with you.
I just can't. I just don't like it. I like to hear the engines. I don't like to hear tires squeal.
Well, coming over from the dirt side, that was the first thing. That was the first thing that we noticed, being a dirt fan coming to the pavement. And it might as well be cash registers dinging, you know, because that's all I heard coming from the dirt side is these tires burning out. Going to be a tight show. I think, you know, part of our earlier discussion, I was going to bring up who needs this race more. Does NASCAR need to be in LA or does LA need NASCAR? Have you seen the state of LA since this pandemic hit, Adam? It is basically a homeless disaster zone. It looks like, you know, World War III has already been through there, right where the track is. So hopefully it all works out. I'm glad to see NASCAR taking swings. I'm glad to see this not a points race. So we'll follow that, the clash at the Coliseum as they kick off the season.
I like it.
Want to mention Tom's Trailer Repairs. Tom Beals, as always, we've been talking about this for the last couple weeks. He's got his deal going on there where he repairs trailers. Give Tom a call if you need any service on your trailer, whether it be single, dual, or triaxle. He can do brakes, wiring, and even bearing replacements. So call Tom Beals. He can fix you up. It's tombeals1@hotmail.com or call him at 933-9220. You can always pause this show and go back and get his information. So, Tom, thanks a lot for helping everybody out. Get your cars to the track safely. I'm just going to keep flying through these, Adam, and then we got 2 or 3 little topics we'll have. Humberstone Street Stock Nationals came out. Actually, let's jump before that. They have their Canadian Dirt Race Academy for modifieds and sprint cars coming up. Don't forget, sign up is still available for that. Make sure you get out and get in if you're looking to figure out the fast way in your modified or sportsman. It's going to happen in April, the weekend of the 17th, and the following weekend it will be the sprint cars. So check that out. All at Humberstone. Jordan Poirier and Kevin Loveys will be your instructors for the day as they help you find the fast way around in the sprint car world. And it'll be Matt Williamson and Randy Williamson on the modified sportsman side. So make sure you call Humberstone and get involved in the Canadian Dirt Racing Academy. Sticking with Humberstone, Street Stock Nationals. We talked about their purses coming out, Adam, and this was announced this week that Peacemaker 420 is going to get on board. Mario's been trying to do a big race for a while there. So obviously it's a cannabis shop, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Let's look at this. This is the payouts here. So it's going to be the Canadian Street Stock Nationals, and it's going to be, show the other slide first if you can, Spencer, and then we'll come back to the payouts. It's going to be Saturday, October 8th. And this is a unique thing, Adam. The Nationals will receive $3,000 for the win. It's going to pay $150 to start. Here's the interesting. The winner of the B main will get $1,000, or they can option to forfeit that and start in the A. I thought that was a neat concept. Had a lot of people chirping on the internet. I think it's brilliant. If you squeak out a B main win and know you have no hope of finishing in the top 5 in the A, take your $1,000 and watch them all go for it. Right? I think it's a brilliant promotion, and I love it.
It's an old trick brought back to life. I love it. I've seen it in big events before. I think it's the coolest thing. I would like to know if the B main winner takes $1,000, does the second place finisher get the starting spot?
I believe it did say that in there, yes. So they'll take the second place starter, and they will add the car. So, and let's talk about that. So that's the other thing that comes up. We brought it up. People are pissed that it's a weed shop. Right? But it's a legal business in Ontario now. What's the difference, you know? And what gets me wrong is the same guy who's pissed off about a weed shop is probably the same guy smoking on a dart right now, wishing Winston would come back to the Cup Series. You know, so it doesn't make much sense to me. Anybody who's going to get behind the sport, they're not breaking the law. They're a legal business. What is the problem? Do you have a problem with it, Adam?
I really don't, Clinton. And I...
How is it any different than Budweiser? That's what I'm saying.
To me, it's not. I'm trying to think of an example. Seaway Hose and Hydraulics is Mike Bowman's business, right? I've never bought anything there, but I'm not upset that it's on his race car. Like, I don't need anything from him. Peacemaker 420. I don't need anything from them, so I don't need to go there. Like, I'm not a cannabis user. I'm not a weed smoker, and that's fine. That's my choice. What you choose to do, what anyone else chooses to do, is up to them. I have no problem with them being a sponsor and with them spending their money, as you say, a legal product being promoted.
It's an old school.
We have this we have this conversation about a lot of things. We talk about news. My father-in-law is addicted to Fox News. So we have a lot of conversations when we get together, and now this is wrong and that's wrong. So don't get mad. The Kyle Rittenauer, was that his name? The kid that shot those people? Yeah. I said, it's one thing to say this is right or this is wrong. Don't get mad at this situation. Change the laws. Like, if you want to take a stance when laws are being made. If you're following laws, that becomes what you can do and what you can't do. But don't complain when it's too late. Know what you're complaining about. If it's a legal product, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to go there. But why would we turn away that support?
I know that some of the tracks, I'll call it out, Mark Rinaldi has told them down there. They had a kind of an influx in the last 5 years of a lot of this business. Mark just said, I just don't want to see weed leaves on race cars. So put the name of the business on, but, you know, no joints, no weed leaves, whatever it is, you know what I mean? We just don't want the imagery out there, but we'd love to have the businesses be a part of what we're doing. So just an interesting topic. All right, let's jump into a couple fun things here. Our Burger Barn video of the week. Boom, boom, out go the lights. Check this out, Adam, driving a sprint car, and it doesn't get dark. Carson Macedo said it didn't get dark, it was black. Right in the middle of the sprint car, A-main, the lights go out. And thankfully, everybody got woke up. That's what it looks like from the stands. Here's what it looks like from the cockpit.
And your eyes can't adjust.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. You know, I think about when I come in, like my office in the basement. So I come out from the backyard in the hot summer sun and I walk down. I can't see nothing for 5 minutes. it's the other way. It's exactly like that. I think, wow, what a scary, good job on all of them to get everybody rode down. It happened. It did happen a while ago at Hush Weekend. I'm sure it's happened more than a few tracks over the years.
I have witnessed it. I've witnessed it at Flamborough. I've witnessed it at Ashweekend, and it is frightening.
The question you put on the screen, is that for us, Spencer? The question is G-Force covering the Street Stock Nationals? Not yet, but it could be. It's an open date for us as it sits right now, I think. All right. We've got a couple of things here. Who's crazier, the fans or the drivers? This is rally cars, Adam. And, we talk about, craziness. But who's crazier here, the fans or the drivers? This is Rally Finland. Check out some of this imagery. Like, that guy's filming it on the side of the road. It reminds me of us at Syracuse hanging off the turn with the camera doing stupid things. But, like, have these guys not seen how these cars crash? They'll take out everybody.
Oh, takes your breath away. You'll know you're alive.
Like, nearly knocked the camera out of his hands. That guy had balls as big as that boulder. Like, look at this. It turns like right, and they're just freaking out more and more every car that comes by. I love.
Now, where was the one where was the video where the car crashed into the trees?
Dude, I think I might have got them confused. Do we have that one too, Spencer? I don't know if he's got. It's in the link. Well, okay. I'll put that one in next week too.
Oh my goodness, that car sailed. But like I said, we stuff that we can use next week down the road. I would love to do that. I would love to do a rally race
through the trees like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh hey, that reminds me. Oh man, I should probably save this till next week. But all right, no, I can't. I just bear with me. No, this is too good. It has to go right now. So, do you remember when I won the race at Ashweekend a few years back? I'm trying to look for my trophy. I don't even know where it is. Do you remember?
Which race?
The go-kart race. Or the mini stock race many years ago. Or how many times
also won the mini
each
stock race. I think just the twice. No, we went to that. We went to the Mercy Lift race down in New York, and I whooped your ass. Dave Axton was the only one that beat me, and if I had one more yellow, I'd have put him behind me. That was way back in the dual airbags days, because it was.
So who has the title right now?
You do.
I do. Do you want a shot at that belt?
Yeah. What are we doing?
At Ashweekend? I'm sending Spencer the pictures right now.
If you tell me that we've got to be in a foot race, I will kick you in the nards from here.
No, this is way cooler than that. I challenge you, Adam Ross, to a vintage car race. When the vintage cars come to town on July 29th at Ashweekend. Spencer, look at our chat. I just put 4 pictures in there and put them up on the screen as soon as you can because we need. Oh no, they're not sending.
I'll look like Fred Flintstone with my head up through the top of the roll cage and my feet out the front of the car.
Is it going to show there? How about that? Vintage style cars? We can do it. So Blake Outhouse reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to race Adam? And I said, does Adam like to eat? Of course. The answer is yes to that. Did they come through, Spencer? So we're going to go at it. Me and you. And I don't know whether or not to send to Spencer. Give me 1 second, Spencer. I'm trying to send him again. I'm trying to send him one at a time. And so Blake said he wants to have a celebrity race. I said, well, you better get somebody else. But I think it's going to be awesome to go at it. We'll have Blake on next week to talk about the full challenge. And I don't know why. For some reason, my pictures aren't going through to Spencer. Maybe my Wi-Fi sucks here. Hold on, Spencer. We just got to make this work. It's too good to be true.
You're really building the suspense.
I know I am. It's terrible.
We cut some bars out of the hobby car this weekend.
Yeah, how
make
come
the
we didn't get
opening a little
pictures of you
bit
getting
bigger.
fitted into your race car?
They're online. You didn't care enough to take them.
I didn't want to make you feel bad. So how's that going to work? Again, Twitch, it's the shortest guy in the pits, and you're the tallest guy in the pits. So these are the cars. These are full-blown dirt modifieds with retro bodies on them. Do you accept the challenge?
If I fit.
Oh, bullshit already.
Those cars
How
are
about this?
all little people cars. You show me someone who's 6'5" that drives one of these. If Greg Bellier drives one of these, I will drive his car.
That's the okay. We will find one that you can get in.
Like, give
They're
me
not
one
all
that's driven
jockeys in
by
that class.
Wee Willie Allen.
I mean, I don't know.
The hobby car will fit all right. It'll need. It's always snug. Like, did you see Carson Hocevar in the midget at the Chili Bowl?
There you go. The 601 is a tall driver. We're gonna get you in that car. Yeah, I did see that. He was jammed in there with his knees up around his chin. Gary
Yeah.
Calling, we might be able to get you in one too, because I'll whip your ass also. I'll even let you guys start in front of me. How about that? Go high side around the outside.
I'll get my. I always. Yeah. I don't want to make excuses. There's no excuse. If you race, you win or you lose.
Let's do it. All right. Everybody, we thank you for joining us. It's been an action-packed show. Holy crap, Adam. We had Kyle Steckley, Claude Haggerty, Alex Nagy, Stewart Friesen. We had a jam-packed show today.
We did, and I'm going to tell you, somebody reached out to me, and well, I'll tell you, it was Cam Harris reached out from Stickers and Scuffs podcast today, but wanted to get a guest on the show from the Ontario Sportsman Series. Cam does some PR work for the series. Says, what is the process? And I says, well, you just executed the process.
Yeah,
You throw out a message. Yep. And so if anyone's wondering, if you want to be on the show, if you have an idea for someone who would make a great guest, just shoot us a message. Throw us a line on Facebook. However you want to reach out, we're good to go. That's how it happens, and we'd love to get someone on. If they're a good story, they're a good story. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, we find our interesting angles from all different sides. So, like Adam said, if you got something. And Gary Calling says, do you have one small enough for me? I'm not going to answer that because that's what she said. All right. Good night, everybody. We're getting a bit punched drunk. It's been a great day. Yeah, let's talk about that. We'll talk about that. We're trying to get Braden Cooley on next week. He's the new GSR driver who's coming over from Australia and going to kick his first tires here in Florida. Fran wants to know follow-up from the Weber Valley deal. So, Adam, that's our homework this week to find out what's going on with Cooley and GSR and the Weber Valley conspiracy. Are we still keeping it rolling? And, we'll have to figure that out.
I haven't heard much from Greg Callan lately. You know who else I haven't heard much from lately?
Who?
Weber Valley.
Weber Valley.
We'll have Ray Morneau on there. Yeah, Dana Morneau knows a really good race car driver. She doesn't date one, but she knows one.
Twitch, it says Ross has hit walls. That's what we need. We need
listen,
Ross wall demo service or something, established in 2020.
I am so looking forward. It's no doubt, but I am so looking forward to Rob driving the hobby car because he is going to crash it. And when he does, and I'm not defending my son because Connor did what he did. Like, you hit walls, you crash, but he is going to crash, and the shame he is going to feel when the car gets towed back to the pits. I say, yeah, you hit lots of stuff. Tomorrow is Bell Let's Talk Day. Very important day on my calendar. Mental health. January is a challenging month for a lot of people who live with mental health issues. I am one of them. My anxiety has been bothering me a little bit this month, Clinton. I'll be happy when January is over and racing season is back upon us. And I consider racing season to be when Daytona comes about. But do not suffer alone. I love what Bell Let's Talk has done, especially this year with the focus on listening and being there for your loved ones when they need you.
For sure. Great, important message. If you need someone to talk to, we all got buds out there. Reach out to us. We'll chat with you as we do every Tuesday. And Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to our guests. Thanks, Spencer, for all you do. We'll be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. as always to keep talking racing. If there's something you want us to chat about, let us know. We appreciate to hear from you. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again on G-Force TV soon.